And I call on you in the order in which I see the hands raised. I am Ronnie from NIGP, and this is Yvonne from Acclaim Pros. If anyone has a question and wants us to get us started for the day, let me know and raise your hand. I don't see any hands raised. No questions? Anyone want to get us started for the morning? Letting people in here. Well, I will start by letting you know, just to make an announcement as we continue to let people arrive. So this is the last of the Teams meetings for these, because you should all have meetings the second and fourth Tuesday of the month on your calendars, but this is actually the last one in the series, and Yvonne will be sending out Zoom meetings. We are going to be switching over to Zoom. So look for those. They will be the full series, and they will go through next July, right, Yvonne? Yes. So make sure that you look for those. Also, we had recently told you we are offering, if your chapter hasn't taken advantage of a 1-hour free training session with Yvonne on basically topics of your choice. This isn't necessarily individual training per se, but it is training for your chapter, whether it's to get some new people up to speed or whether it's just to explore other features of the platform. If you haven't done that, we had a deadline of June 30th for that, but actually we have decided to extend that. So this is available. And if you are interested in that for your chapter, just reach out to me and I will send you the reservation link in order to make that happen. So just to let you know that that is also available. So we have more people. I don't know if anyone has questions and they'd like to raise their hand in terms of getting us started in terms of questions. I don't see any hands raised.
Wow, this is going to be a quick office hours today.
Yeah, well, nobody seems. Well, why don't we start off then, Yvonne, with some of the things that you are going to demonstrate, and then we'll go from there. Does that work? Where would you like to start?
Let me share first. All right, well, just a couple little things that we went over, Ronnie and I went over yesterday that you might not be aware. You're seeing my screen now, right?
Yes, we are.
Perfect. All right, so first we're going to start with, let's see, the scroller. This is some code that if anyone is interested, you can, right now it says that it's for an event for another client, but this is some code that I can provide to you that you can drop into your home page. This would be especially beneficial perhaps for your upcoming trade shows. Right there on your home page, you could have this scroller. It would catch the attention of anybody that visits your website. And it's very easy to work with because it's very simple code. It's only a couple lines. And on your home page, you have the ability to edit your home page and bring over rows. And so you would just above your banner image, drop in a row of 100%. And then in here is the code that, as you can see, it's a very, very short line of code. And you would just drop in this code. I could provide it to you. And then when it was time to change your text, you just click on the HTML. And instead of register today for the summer social on the rooftop, you could change that, register today for the NIGP reverse. I don't know if that's what you actually call it when you advertise it to the public, but I'll just use that. And let's just change the date. We're going to get rid of this sponsored by, because your reverse trade shows are probably not sponsored by. And then just change the date here. And let's just put September 15 through 17. I don't know if those are any good dates for you, but that's as simple as that. You click on.
That happens because of the ads, Yvonne.
I was thinking maybe it was because I don't have edit rights.
No, it's because of the ads that have to be there. So Yeah. So Yvonne, I am going to ask about that HTML and the space HTML there. Maybe you could talk a little about should that be kept in there?
The NG, whatever it is. Yes.
Yep.
Otherwise, I mean, you could just, it's just the code for a space, just a space bar, hitting the space bar. Otherwise, if you got rid of that, it would say register today for the NIGP reverse trade show, and then it would go right into September 15th instead of having a little bit of space there. So that's what that is. And that code, if you look in here, is just ampersand NBSP colon ampersand. So you just copy that. If you wanted less space, you could remove some of that. If you wanted more space, you could add some of that. So that's right there.
One of those, the ampersand MPSP semicolon is one space. So right there, she has 3 spaces there. So
yeah. And then I have this little, the character, the straight line up and down character to separate. But if I got rid of that, then it would just be 6 spaces between with no separation line. The separation line to me makes it a little bit more clear. So I just reverted back to add that separation line. And then, so right now in this code, it has a specific color background. And if you go into the code, you'll see this is the hex code for that specific color background. But if you have your own colors that have specific to your logo, you would just change your hex color here in the code to whatever your background is. And then I'm going to take this color background, and right now you'll see there's a lot of white. Maybe you don't want it to be like that. You want the entire box to be that color. This is where it's easy, but ClubExpress is glitchy. So you would go into this box editor here and you'd hit the style and you'd want to add that background color. And then, like you said, because of your ad, see how now it added an entire background color. The whole box is that same color instead of just a white box with a strip of that color. And so now if I save that and I go back to the home page, it's just a larger area of blue. And you could butt that up right up to your banner across the top of your website.
So also, just so you know, if you wanted to on your website to get that hex number in Chrome, you can go to their what's it called, their store to get a widget. It's not a widget. God, I'm my brain today. But there's like a color picker that you can use, extension. There it is. Thank you. That you can install into your Chrome bar and use that and hover over it, and it will give you the hex color, just so.
Yeah, I don't have it on this browser. I have it on a different browser, but so I couldn't show you. Yeah, you click on the extension and hover over whatever color you're trying to capture, and it'll tell you the color.
So that'll give you your site colors. But if anyone has questions, they can reach out, ask me or Yvonne, and we can help with that. So Ruthenna has her hand up.
Good morning. I have a question. So, well, actually, I have an issue. So, I had a group of potential members that were approved, but they hadn't paid yet. So when Tony went in to pay for them, I think somehow it made a duplicate account for these members. I can give you some examples of names of what who this happened to.
Which group are you with?
Maryland.
Maryland. Okay.
Now I have a question. When we give when we use examples of people's name on here, or I just want to make sure I'm not in any violation of like I guess like showing personal information.
I don't think so. Ronnie can answer that. I mean, we've been doing that.
Okay. Okay. So because I have specific people that this happened to.
So I'm sorry, I didn't understand the question. If you could say it again, Ruthanna, sorry.
So it looks like when Tony went in to pay for the account,
Uh-huh.
it duplicated
I'm listening,
each
but
of
I'm not.
those persons. I hear a background. It duplicated each of those persons' account. I'm not sure what exactly happened, but I'm sure it had something to do with when he went in and paid for their account because it happened to everyone who was on that list.
Okay, so so she was asking originally, which this might not have been what you heard, Ronnie. Is it okay to use specific example names for privacy reasons? But yes, go
During
ahead.
the office hours, you mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes? Yes,
Okay,
certainly. Yeah.
okay. So let me give you, can I give you a name that you can look at? And once you show me one, I can, I guess, fix it. But
Mhm.
I'm sure the issue happened with the payment because it happened to all of them.
Go ahead, give me a
Okay.
name.
Can I jump in for a second, Tony Reed?
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right, so let me just give you the context. So we had a bunch of people who are already registered, and then for some reason there was a list that Ruthina provided to me and said, "Hey, these 7 people haven't paid." So I said, "Okay," so I paid for them P card. So then when she went in, there's a duplicate of these folks, and so ultimately what we want to do is join them together to because one says you expired, the other one says active. So eventually, like 6 people, we want to bring them together, and as we did before, we just created one account. But the mere fact that I paid for folks and then it gave a duplicate account for them is what Ruthina's trying to find out. And then ultimately, we want to merge the 2 accounts to one to show that they're active. I just want to give you the context.
Okay, give me an example of one of the names.
Kimberly Moeller. The last name is Moeller.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
The last name is Moeller.
I still can't hear you, Ruthanna.
Okay.
You want to put it in chat, maybe, the name?
Yeah. Yes. Oh.
Hello?
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you just go
Yes.
in and out. It's very quiet, but I did see the chat. Okay, so here was an open invoice. Okay. And dated June 23rd, and also one dated October 24. Oops. Okay, so there's 2 open invoices. She signed up on October 24, never paid, right? Is that correct? They never paid for the secondary member of her in October, is what it looks like. Let's look here. Here's a mid-year change. Well, it looks like she was added in October and then never paid. And then you in June added her to pay, right? Did you actually type in her information, or did you go to the people manager, find this profile with member number 2023?
All right, good.
No, I did not.
But did Tony do this? Tony, did you
So
apply the payment?
yeah, there was a listing of people who they gave me that did not pay, so I just paid, it was in through ClubExpress, and it had or through MPPA. It just had a bunch of 45s. So I just added the 45s, paid them all, and now was done with it. So it created 2 accounts. So I guess just to get things done, how do we merge the 2? And then in the future, what should I do if there's a person that I want to pay for in my organization?
So when you went to pay for Kimberly, though, did you go to the people manager, search for her last name, see 2 profiles, and apply payment to one of them? Or did you go to the primary and actually, or yourself as the primary, I believe, and actually type in her name as a new member at the time that you marked her payment?
No, I didn't type in a name. I was given a list of people and it said, check the box, for payment. And that's what I did. And then I just paid. So it was already there, the names of these folks. And I think Ruthina might have sent me the name of the folks that needed to be paid. So I'm not sure how I got that list, but I just checked the box. It said, who do you want to pay for? And I just checked the box. It gave me a total and I paid.
Okay, I think the next time that you get one of these, let's walk through it together,
Okay.
because I'm a little unclear on what happened. But so for now, let's work on the cleanup.
Okay.
In order to clean up, first of all, she's got 2 open invoices. So we're going to want to delete those 2 open invoices. And you can do this this way by going here and clicking on the delete button or the trash can. You can also do it when you drop her. It'll ask if you want to delete all pending membership invoices. But I like to do it here just because I feel like it's cleaner. Then we're going to go back to the people manager and we're going to change her from expired. We're going to convert her to a non-member. Now, when she's a non-member, now an active non-member can be merged with an active member. And you go to the non-member profile, this very last icon, click on it, and you merge with a member, and you find her. That's the membership that you're going to be merging her with. And now there's only one profile for her. And I know this because I've clicked on both members and non-members, and I've clicked on all member statuses. And then I put in her last name. So there's absolutely no other one for her right now.
Okay, and she's paid now?
Pardon me?
So she's paid now?
Didn't you just say Tony marked her as paid?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. So if she wants to register for something, it won't come up that she owes money or anything, that she's a paid member.
Yes. It says
Okay.
that it's paid by Visa on
Yep.
June 2nd.
Yep.
Okay.
And see, if you go back to where you saw paid member, go back to where,
Actions?
yeah, I think so. Because it showed not just 45, but like $180. So it was a bunch of people that I paid, but that's fine. And so we can just replicate that just to clear up the other folks, correct?
Yeah, so this
Okay.
is just her mid-year change. If you go to the primary member and look at your transaction history, let's see. So yeah, so like you're in here, but so this is June 2nd. Each of those other ones are the mid-year change, the $45 is going to be in their profile.
Okay, that's fine. Okay.
Can we do another one?
Okay, so yeah, you can pick one of the other 3 that you see there, just so that we can, yeah.
Okay, so this one's a little different because this one's active as well, versus expired. So there are no payments. Okay. This one's the primary. We don't want the primary. She's a secondary under you, right?
Yes.
Okay. So let's delete the transactions that are open. Let's see what's in there. Excuse me. So it's just the initial sign up. So we're going to delete that. And then we're going to change her from active to expire. So the way to do this first is first expire her. Now, when you hit expire, it's going to kick out an email to her. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to remove her email just so it doesn't confuse her.
It's a he, but
Or him, I'm sorry.
It's
Oh,
okay.
Gustavo.
Yeah,
Wasn't here reading.
that's okay.
Yeah, just so that it doesn't confuse Gustavo when he gets an email that says your membership expired. So I removed his email and now I'm going to expire him first. And then I'm going to drop him. Convert him to a non-member. And now I'm going to merge his non-member profile with his member profile. And then just, because we merged it, his email with his member profile, his email is still in there with his member profile. But this way he's not getting an email that you expired him from the other one.
Okay, and now we're going to put his email back.
No, there is no other one. So we merged them. But
Right.
That's why I clicked here just to show you his email address is still in there because his email address was in his member profile. I removed it from his non-member, but I merged the two.
Okay.
So, but how did it duplicate it? How did it make a second account for him though?
I don't know. That's why I said the next time you get a payment like this, I'd have to go through the process with you of how you applied that payment to see why you're getting duplicates.
That's fine. Okay, we appreciate it taking some time. Anything else, Ruthina?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to have a recording of this because I'm not gonna remember what you just said.
Sure.
We do make a recording for
I
sure.
know. Thank you guys.
All right, thank you.
Heather, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I'm with Arizona State Capital Chapter.
Okay, hi.
So I have a question. If you go into our events,
Okay.
and pull up it says the fourth one down, vendor registration 35th annual or 36th annual.
Okay.
Go into registrations. Actually, yeah, there. So if you can scroll down to the name on the left where it says Aaron Mraz, that one right there. So we're having issues because if you look on the right, it says they canceled and didn't pay. However, it hit their account and it hit our account. So it's kind of weird because I didn't cancel it, which I would if the vendor asked me to, and they're sitting they didn't cancel it. Is there a glitch that might have happened because we received their payment?
Okay, so the difference between canceled and canceled.
No, I know that. But
Okay.
the canceled one I know because I canceled them. The canceled not paid is what happens when a vendor ends up canceling. Because we require they have to pay immediately. If they don't pay immediately, their registration is automatically canceled.
Right. So the not paid, the canceled not paid indicates that the registration canceled because they didn't pay within the 30-minute time limit.
However, it went through their
yes.
bank and we received it.
So let's first of all look at, let's see, MERAZ. So this sounds to me like it's a ClubExpress glitch. It has happened before where
she's a
non-member, right? But
she's
still
a sponsor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. She's still going to have a non-member profile. So I just want to go in here and look at all transactions. Yeah. So this is something you're going to have to contact ClubExpress for support, because I have seen this before where the payment has gone through, but it is not showing that there's a payment. So I would definitely reach out to ClubExpress, ask them if they're aware of any issue. If you're 100% sure you've got the payment and everything is copacetic on your end, then go back in, just go ahead and add $1,200 credit to Erin's non-member account, and I can show you how to do that. And then re-register her. Okay. And then re-register her at everything, the same information, and mark it as paid with that credit. But definitely reach out to ClubExpress and tell them that this happened on June 11th, it looks like. So definitely reach out to ClubExpress so that they're aware of it and see if they can do any research in the back end on why that happened.
So it's only her, because no other vendors had an issue, because she did this, it happened to her twice. So nobody else has had an issue. It's just her. Isn't that the weirdest thing?
Yeah, it is weird. And was it the same event, same day, back to back happened?
No, it was June 2nd. So I deleted it because it was canceled and not paid. And then it happened again on June 11th. It did the same thing, canceled, not paid. But we received payment on June 2nd. It's confusing. On June 2nd, we received her payment. June 11th, it didn't go through, which is fine. But we received it in our bank, and they showed me a screenshot yesterday that it went through their bank.
Yeah, that is
on their end too. Because she's the only one. I've not had any problems with anyone else. The other ones, it's something that I already knew about, but nobody else has had an issue.
Yeah, I would definitely, like I said, reach out to ClubExpress and tell them all that whole backstory.
Okay.
Because it sounds like the initial issue happened on June 11th. I'm sorry, on June 2nd. So they'll want that.
Yeah, it just keeps happening to them, and I don't understand. Just that vendor, nobody else.
So is this a vendor that would register again next year?
I actually have no idea. So
I would reach out to Erin as well and say, if you are, hopefully you will register again next year. And if you do, instead of going through the process, could you contact us and we'll go through the process with you and see what happens.
I've done that with them, and they're very pissed off right now. So I'm trying to fix it on another way. So I wanted them to walk me through what they were doing, and they're upset, and I don't want to cause more issues. So I'll contact ClubExpress.
Okay.
If you have any issues, Heather, like they don't respond quickly, just let us know because we need to get this resolved for you, right? So let us know if you don't hear from, I think they're responsive, but if you don't hear, just let us know, right?
Okay, thanks, Ronnie.
Yep. Okay, does anyone else have any questions? I don't see any other hands up. Don't see. Okay, Yvonne, if you want to move on, I don't know the countdown. Do you want to show that?
Well, first I'll go through financial accounts. I'm not sure if anybody is using financial accounts, but I wanted to give you a little heads up on what financial accounts might be able to help you with. And that is your reporting when you get money in, if you're pulling a report on transactions at the end of the month. I'm going to use this site as my example because I have some financial accounts set up. Under the Money tab, you can set up financial accounts. And basically, this is not different bank accounts, although if you're on premium ClubExpress Stripe, you could have different bank accounts, but I don't think anybody is. But what it is it's just something basically in the back end of ClubExpress where you can create a financial account that goes specifically with an ad hoc report or maybe even a specific membership type or especially for events. So for instance, I have here All Spring Education Conference. So when I create an event for this client for their spring education conference every year, when I set up the event, and let's see, sorry, spring education here, top one. Sorry about that. Under the I think it's under registration and fees. Yes. Okay, it's not. This might be under activities. This one's a little bit more. Hold on a second. I'm sorry. Maybe this is not the best one to set up. Okay, so this is under activities. So if you have activities, under your activities, here's where you can change it to accounting information, financial account, all spring education conference. If you do not have activities, it would just be under the registration and fees. And then there'd be an option here, just like there is where the mailing list people go to, there'd be an option of what financial account you want the funds applied to. And then when you run a report under the money tab, and you want to go to reports, transactions, payment by accounts, user payments by account. I'm going to look for, I could do all accounts. Let's just do all accounts. My period is this year. I'm going to open this in HTML just to make it easier here for us to share. And then it's going to separate into separate accounts. Instead of having all of your events under one master event financial account, it can separate them into different categories for you. And that'll make it a lot easier when you're adding up your totals at the end of the month, or at the quarter, or however you do it, or even at the end of the year if you need to run a report at the end of the year. So you can create as many financial accounts as you want. And to do the financial accounts, like I said, you go to the Money tab and you click on Financial Accounts. And let's just add an account here. And we're going to call this, I have an upcoming event for them for the Savannah Bananas. And the account type is a master event registration. And it's going, all the money is just going to the regular primary account. And it's as simple as that. So now I've created that financial account. And if I go to the events calendar and I go to the Savannah Banana game, I can go into registration and fees. And right now it's under master event registration, but here's where I can change it to Savannah Bananas. Now, any money and any registrations that come in after this, when I run a report, it's going to separate that out into Savannah Bananas.
So like if you could separate it into like reverse trade show versus your annual conference versus your golf tournament or whatever, so that you're able to break it out so it's not everything's in one event umbrella as
right.
event
And you can even do this for your membership types. So under your people options, your member types, there is also the option, maybe you want to separate agency versus all these different types of memberships. Under the control panel, member types, when you click on here, there's, see, this is under master membership dues, but if you had one that was set up for regular members, you could assign it to regular members. And then when you run that report, it would separate all of the funds into all the different accounts. Any questions on that? Or anybody interested in trying that out?
certainly helps on the reporting aspect, right? So for sure.
For sure.
Let me ask you, Yvonne, just to explore that a little further. On the site dashboards, does that allow you to break it down based on financial accounts on the dashboard that you, on the admin panel, that the dashboard there?
Let's
Just
see.
curious. Perhaps not, but.
No, they have event revenue by category,
Okay.
registration by category, revenue by account.
Here you
that
go.
should be. Let's just
See what it means. Yeah. So if you, hopefully you all are aware of this dashboard. So that's another, here you go.
Yep. So you can even pull that into your dashboard.
So that when you're logging in, this is what you see. This is personalized to you. So as admins in the back end, you create these dashboards. So your events person might have this on their dashboard versus your membership person might have other reports and stuff like that. But that is all configured through the dashboard here. So that's interesting that you can also put that here. So that's great. Quick reference.
Mm-hmm. All right, so another thing we wanted to talk about is, especially with your reverse trade show, we talked about the scroller, but another feature that you might not be aware that ClubExpress has is and you know what, since this always gets messed up when I try to save, I'm just going to go back to my other website to do it. There is also a countdown widget. And I don't know if anybody has used the countdown widget, but I'm going to just quickly show you what the countdown widget looks like. So again, you go into the home page or any other page that you want to put a countdown widget. And I'm going to pull in a row of, I'm just going to pull in a 25, 50, 25. And then here I'm going to go into the center and I want to click on that and I want to add the countdown. And you just configure it. You can target date and time. You can do it for a future event. I'm going to go ahead and do it for the Savannah Bananas game. And I believe that game starts at 6 p.m. It's probably not, but we'll just do 6 p.m. And I want to add a link below because I want people to register for it. And so I'm going to go to a future event. And I click on that, and then I want to change the link for the text to click here to register. And I can make it look one of two ways. I'm going to go with this one. I apply change. And now it's left justified. I can go into the style of that, and I can center it. And then maybe I want to put a background color of, I don't know, let's do beige. Okay, select color. And so that's how you can do the countdown widget. And obviously I didn't change the name of the countdown widget, but let's change that to IPA at Savannah Bananas. So that might be good for your upcoming reverse trade shows to do something like that. And you know, if you don't want this to be seen by members when they're logged in, you can change the row visibility by clicking on this. This is for public only. This is for members only. This is for both. And this is to hide it completely, which I'm going to do because I don't want that on the website right now. And then I'm going to make it active. Anyone have questions about that?
Quiet bunch today.
Yeah, no questions about it, but I will give you a little heads up if people have worked in their websites and gone into the style of the row. It's this gets to be tricky. This is where it's kind of a pain. You'll click on it, see it says I have no background color, but I do have a background color in this row. So I have to go out of it again, and then I have to go into the style. There, now the background color shows up. And if I want to change this to a background of white, sometimes it takes me 5 times, 6 times to actually get it to work. So just as an FYI, it's kind of a, kind of a glitchy thing, and you might have to just keep, you don't understand why it's not working, but you just have to keep trying, and you'll eventually get it to work. So right here, I have a background color. That's how I can see in this row. I have a blue background here. So I'm going to go on this row to try and get that color. And it's telling me there's no color, but I know there's a color. So I have to keep going back in there to get it. So just don't give up. Be patient. There we go. 3rd time's a charm. And now I'm going to put that color there. Apply class and save. So just as an FYI, it's glitchy. And so sometimes you just have to keep working at it until you can finally get it to take what you're trying to do.
So I would jump in here and say that in terms of color, using colors, generally best web practices is not to use, colors that are outside your color scheme, like a red to get people's attention if it's not part of your site colors or whatever. Certainly we understand how we want to draw people's eyes, but I just caution you to use colors. As you can see from what Yvonne is showing, all the colors kind of blend and match and whatever, and it is still very visible. And it's not necessarily best standards to use blaring colors. So just with caution. So Heather, you have your hand up.
Actually, before we go, somebody just asked me to go through that one again, the
Oh.
counter.
Sorry. So sorry, Heather. Yeah.
So just let me do that again. So I went to
Yeah.
the home page, and I'll go a little slower. I went to the home page and I pulled over for this one for my demonstration. I pulled over a 25, 50, 25 row, and I want to put the countdown widget in the middle. So I click on the middle box. When I do that, it opens up the widgets, and I just pull over the countdown widget. And then let's this time use this one. Last time I used this one, but this time we'll use the first one. And I'm going to change this to Savannah Bananas. And the target date is the date of the, when the countdown is going to end. So I'll just put September 1st for now at 6 p.m. And then here I'm going to add a link. Now it can be an external link, it can be a QR code, it could be a lot of different things, but we're going to do just a future event. And it is going to be one of the future events I have here. And then I'm going to change the text, because this is the link text, what's going to show up on, if I just left it, in fact, I'll just do that. I'll leave it as is so that it shows up like that. Save. And then I'm going to hit apply change. Now I could have changed that text to say register here, click here to register or something like that. Now the other thing here is I want to get this centered in that row. So I'm going to click on that again, and I'm going to go to the style, alignment, and I'm going to center. And then for the background color, I chose what? Bisque. Let's do that. And then I hit select, and now it makes that row that color. There's some other things you can do back around here too. You can change the line height, you can change the size of the text, but I wouldn't change your text font, because that is your branded fonts for your website. It's going to automatically come up with your branded fonts for your website. So I would leave that alone. But you could eliminate the bottom margin here so that the box isn't as big. There's a few little things you can do here. And then you just hit save, make active. I'm going to quickly show you what it looks like. It's not pretty because it's a horrible color, but that's how it will look like. That's what it will look like on your website. And because I don't want that to be there, I'm going to quickly go back in there and get rid of it. Did that help? Did that go a little slower for you?
It's also going to be part of the recording. So we do record all of these. So I post those recordings on our YouTube channel so that you can access them then. If you don't have the link to the YouTube channel, just reach out to me and I can send it to you for sure. But we post all of the recordings of office hours there. So if you miss something, you can certainly go back and reference it. So Heather.
With the Arizona State Capitol chapter. So, but I want to, Yvonne, go back to, you had the very bottom where you were talking originally when we first started about that scrolling, the register today scroll bar. So I'm just kind of messing around while you've been talking, and I do not see that when I do the edit manager, the widget. So I cannot change that.
You're talking about this scroller here?
No, well.
Oh, sorry. This one. This one here?
Uh-huh.
I have to give you the code. So if you're interested in this, I can drop in the code, and then you would go to your home page, and you would, and I can do that right now if you want. So we would just pull over a row of 100%, and I'm assuming you might want it there. And then you would pull over text. And let me just grab that code.
So will this bottom one that says register today be removed from our website that you guys put on there?
Hold on one second. Let me go back. Oh, I want to get the code I sent to you, Ronnie. Sorry. The one that we put on there. You're saying there's one here that says register today on your site?
Uh-huh. On my main page. Keep going. It's all the way. See?
Oh.
So I think you guys might have put it on everybody's,
Oh
but
my
yeah, I would
gosh.
like to
Remove that. Yeah, that is
Yes.
because it's on the, wow. All right. I didn't even know that. So I will be removing that. Because I put it on the NIGP parent site above those ads, right? So I will remove that. I didn't even realize it was showing up. So I will remove that. Thank you, Heather.
But
if
remove it right now?
Yes, yeah.
I have to
Well,
remove it
sorry.
from the parent site. So
Oh.
just, yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Yep.
But if you could send it to the information, because then I would probably want to put it somewhere else on our, to be able to put it on there. I'm not quite sure yet. I'm gonna talk to my committee, but it's cool, but I just didn't.
It's gone now. So
I just dropped the code in the chat.
Okay, thank you so very much.
So, and Heather, if I don't know when you joined the call, but if you did join the call a little after we had started, we covered this first. So in the recording,
Yes.
you talk all about how to edit this and that kind of thing. So
I did. I had
okay.
at the very beginning, but then I was like, let me go and edit it, but it wasn't there because I wanted something different.
Yeah.
So, but I'm still gonna go back in.
So this is something, it's not actually a widget that ClubExpress provides. For instance, this is something, and Yvonne, you can speak otherwise, but that Yvonne had developed in terms of using that code. And she showed it to me, and she was willing to share it with you guys in terms of placing this on your site. So, but this is completely code-based. The only way to do this is to use this code that Yvonne has provided. So,
but
I think it's great.
To work with.
Yeah, easy to edit. Certainly code is a little overwhelming, but generally it's just simple editing in the back, in the HTML tab. So shouldn't be too challenging. So
can I interject on just that code that is sitting there in the chat?
Yes.
I just wanted to help anyone that is interested in the Marquee and implementing it on their page, just to understand a little bit of what all of that jargon means. The Marquee scroll amount equals quote 15. That's in reference to the speed that the text is going to go across that little ticker. So if you were to do less than 15, it's going to slow it down a little bit, and more, it's going to speed it up. I think the rest might be pretty self-explanatory. And then the padding is how much space is around the font, around the text. That's it.
That's based on the code that Yvonne just put in chat. So if you guys wanted to see that, so if you didn't see it otherwise, so.
And the only other thing I had for you today, unless somebody else has questions, were QR codes for events. I assume some of you are working with QR codes and have created QR codes. If you don't mind, I'll just go use Arizona right now for your future event. Especially the reason this came up was more so for a quick day of registration. So if you get some walk-ins at your event, so a couple of quick, easy ways to get them to register or to help you register them quickly. First of all, let's go down to this vendor. We're going to use this, and we're going to say that on it's October 16th, and you get a walk-in. You can create a registrant type that is visible only to admins, and then it makes just really quick for you to quickly go through the process to register somebody when they walk in. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it is to create a QR code for the event landing registration page and have your and share it with the walk-in registrant. And in case you don't know how to do that, that is under the communications tab. And there is this QR code generator, and you can add a QR code and you can label it so that you can remember where to find it. And you could call it maybe 2025 RTS vendor. And then you, again, same thing with the other, how I was showing you where the link, you select the link destination, and it can be an external page, but for our demonstration of what we're talking about, it's a future event. And the future event is a reverse trade show. And okay, so maybe it's not, but okay, let's just say this is what it was, and then save. And I'm going to delete it. So after I'm done, and then there is your, this one here. Yeah, there. And then when you click on the eyeball, that's the QR code you can share with people. And you can post this on your page. You can, you can save this as an image and put it on your website. You can put it in paper brochures. If you're sending out paper brochures or paper mailings for people to register for the event, just not to confuse anybody.
And that's just a right click and save as, right?
Right. So when you click on the eyeball, you can just right click, save image as, and save the image. Okay, so oops, let's delete that. Anyone have any questions about creating QR codes?
Well, my goodness. All right. Well, I think if no one has any questions, because I don't see any hands up, just to confirm once again that Yvonne, you will be getting a Zoom invites, a series of Zoom invites in your inbox for office hours starting in July. Our next one will be on July 8th. At 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so just make sure you a heads up that those will be coming shortly. And we will do this again, as I said, on the 8th of July. I appreciate everyone attending today. If you have any questions, certainly reach out to Yvonne and Kaylee at NIGP@acclaimpros.net. You can also reach out to me if need be as well. They are definitely the pros in terms of ClubExpress. I am not, but so I appreciate everyone's attendance today. Thank you, Yvonne.
Have a good one. Bye, everybody.
Everyone have a good rest of the day. Bye-bye.